Well, if I had anything to say, I would never stop talking. So it's probably good that I'm stuttered.
See your video. No, come for it, Sentoki.
No? Can anybody hear me?
Yep, I hear you.
Oh, good.
Well,
Yeah, I forgot to plug part of my phones in.
no, come.
I think. Well, okay. Ask me a question. I can do better that way.
So, how long you been a ghost hunter, or are you a ghost hunter, or?
Well, I've been experiencing the other side my whole entire life. I just recently been doing the paranormal research and investigation since 2006.
Oh,
I asked
well
my
done.
guys what was really going. Yeah,
Well done. I mean, that's what I've come into it. I've come into it because it's amazing what you get used to. I don't know whether anyone else can say that. You know, what used to spook you out or what used to excite you or whatever is sort of like flatlining now, and it's sort of like you're looking for other avenues of excitement to a degree. Like a roller coaster ride, there's a lot of people that love the ride, and there's some that hate it. Some people hate feeling sick, and some people, you know, don't feel sick on it at all. And it's almost like fear is an addiction, and it's almost like they're getting a buzz off it. That's what I can make out from my point of view.
yeah, for some. But for me, it never bothered me. It was so integrated into my life that it was just a part of it, and that's basically the way I was raised anyway, to be open-minded to the other side because that's where we came from.
Excellent, excellent. Yeah, I mean, but that's why I come into this anyway, to
Yeah.
find out what they think. You know, what these people think.
Good night, Cheryl.
Night. Who said good night?
Someone in the someone in the chat
Oh,
said I
Cheryl.
have to go now, my friends. Good night.
Okay. Yeah, the only thing that got me all messed up was UFOs and that experience.
All right, that's an interesting topic. You believe they exist? I do.
Uh, yeah, I believe I've experienced a couple abductions. Yeah, and
Seriously?
I've seen. Yes.
Jeez.
Well, one night I woke up to a crystal at my head, and it was singing. That's what woke me up, and in the back of my head I saw a hand with a robe on it, and that's what woke me up. So I got up, and next thing I know, I could hear the entire neighborhood. I could also hear the baby next door. Mind you, she was a baby and also Latino that wasn't going to be learning any kind of English anytime too soon. And I heard the baby speak in English. And by the time that was all done, it was like 5, 10 minutes into it. I went to the bathroom, came back out. I went to go back to bed, and then I looked towards my back door because I was in the living room, and I saw two grays standing at the door, and that's when I wigged out.
Wait, two what standing at the door?
Grays,
Rays like alien rays?
grays, yes.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. After that, about not even 5 minutes later, I just passed out. I don't know what happened after that. For all I know, the whole thing could have been all back ass words.
Oh, God.
Yeah, that was in 2004. Yeah, that was in Springfield, Mass. And when I moved to Texas, I was living in Austin in 2005. And I heard this big roar. I had witnesses to it, and it turned out to be one of our jets. It was chasing a huge orb, an orange orb.
Oh, my God.
It couldn't have been more than 50 yards from where I was at. I know somebody else had to see it, but nobody's been speaking up. I couldn't even find it in MUFON. That's how high level this was.
So
When
it's just like an orb, like floating in the sky. It wasn't like not even. It didn't even look like it was coming from any source of light.
no, it was an orb. It was flying around, and they both stopped dead center, like about 75 yards from where I was, and they were just toe to toe. And next thing I know, one of the jets pulled out a missile, and it just stopped in mid-flight and fell down. After that, the orb just literally flew circles around the jet and took off, and then the jet took off.
Oh my god, that's freaky.
Actually, it was kind of cool. I was kind of pissed because I couldn't record it.
Wait, you did record it or you didn't?
Did not.
Damn.
I feel like Fox Mulder half the time because I see all these cool things. I can't get it down because I don't have the camcorder at the time. So I'm figuring maybe at those points that those particular events were only meant for me.
It sucks when like something so amazing happens, but you're not recording it.
Yeah, the best I can do is EVPs.
Well, yeah. Excuse me. I guess so.
Yeah, all this has been through my whole entire life. None of it phases me. The only time it ever phased me was when I saw the Greys, and I've been seeing them ever since 2004.
So you see them like all the time?
Uh, Once every few months. And it doesn't matter where I go because my first recollection was um, here in Middletown, Connecticut. I was in the middle of a very high-powered meditation trip, and the very first thing I saw was a gray.
Holy shit, I need to come to that town.
Yeah, yeah. There's been a few spottings around here of UFOs, but nobody's been able to catch anything recently.
Good night, Joey.
Is my PA friend still here?
Your PA friend who was
Somebody I invited over from one of the forums I'm on.
no, I used to live in Pennsylvania.
No, I mean a forum. Yeah, I used to live in Pennsylvania too when I was a kid. That's when it all started. I was, like I said, I was born into it. My folks kept everything open-minded. They always talked about reincarnation, UFOs, Atlantis, the whole nine.
What part of Pennsylvania did you live in?
Havertown.
Oh, I actually don't know where how far that is from where I used to live. I used to live in a small town, like about like an hour away from Philly.
What was your town?
It was like, I mean, my district was like, it was called Garnet Valley.
Garnet Valley. Never heard of that. Must be the other side.
Like, were you closer to Philadelphia or Pittsburgh?
I think it would be Pittsburgh.
Yeah, we were on like the complete opposite end. We were closer to the border of Delaware.
Yeah, yeah, close to Delaware for us. Yeah. I get lost reading a map, so you know.
So do I. I live in Lima, Peru, and here you can see lights in the sky nearly every night. There is a special mountain side. We believe there is a base inside the mountain. Really? Sounds awesome.
Nice.
I have a friend who lives in Peru. I'm gonna have to ask her about that.
Yeah, like I said, this has been my whole entire life up until I was 8. Up until I was 8, we were literally yapping about all kinds of reincarnation, Atlantis, stuff like that there, UFOs, aliens. But when I turned 8, we had an issue with Men in Black. Do you know who they
Wow.
are? Do you know who they are?
Well, yeah, the movie with Will Smith.
Ah. They're not comical, trust me. They'd rather kill you in real life than to, have fun. As far as I'm concerned, the movie is an insult to the people who've actually been through the Men in Black. We had a 3-day war with these guys. They tried to kill us.
Oh, jeez. I never even like saw the movie, like the Men in Black movie, so I don't really know like what they're exactly about. I just know that Will Smith is in it.
Right? Well, look up Nick Redfern. He'll give you a lot of info on that too. Um, yeah, up until then, everything was cool. Like I said, Men in Black came into play, and after that, my dad erased our memories of the event, so I couldn't tell you what exactly happened. But after that, everything turned religious, and I just thank God I remember all the stuff that they taught me before that.
Oh, I'm like watching myself and the like whenever I show up in the broadcast, and for some reason I look up like every time I talk.
That's cool. Helps you think.
I know it's just like weird. I'm doing it right now. I'm just like looking up like while I'm talking for God knows why.
Uh, it helps people think. Some people smoke. Some people look at their best friend. It helps.
True.
So, what are these Men in Black humans working for the government? No, not in this case. They know when to show up with certain events. They're dressed in black suits. They have, black ties, black fedoras. Um, they'll show up not even seconds after you spot a certain event like UFOs and stuff.
Yes.
They have no eyebrows. They have no hair for the most part.
They have no eyebrows?
Well, have you ever seen Fringe?
Have I ever seen what?
Fringe.
No.
No. Well, go check it out. It's basically what the Men in Black really look like, and they are pretty much monotone, and they are pretty much invasive in one's life when they get involved. And it doesn't really matter what you're involved in. You could be a Christian, you could be a Buddhist, you could just work the tarots, you could do anything. And it doesn't matter what color you are, how old you are, they don't care. They're non-discriminate. They don't care.
So they'll kill you if you see aliens?
Not all the time. It all depends on what the event is, and it's not necessarily about aliens or UFOs. It could be the fact that you could be working with the tarot and they would show up the next day. You could just know about a certain event and they could possibly show up.
That's horrible.
So, sorry, I missed all that. But was your experiences interdimensional or dimensional aliens? Because there is a difference. Do you know where they're from? What planet? What system? Thank you, Erin.
Me? Are you talking to me?
Yeah. Sorry, Duran.
I honestly don't know what the Greys are, and I
Oh,
honestly don't know
right.
what the Men in Black really are either. I don't know
Well,
if they're physical because I don't remember being taken. I just know that the events happened.
the Men in Black actually, I believe they actually work in that governing point between the abyss and
They like to take control of situations because they don't want people to know
to
certain
cross
things.
over. Exactly right. You've got to be at a mental level, a spiritual level, a physical level to handle it.
Yeah, no doubt. I don't know how my folks handle it, take care of us. All I know is that the one I did see was for myself was in like 2007 when I was still keeping my kids open-minded for the spiritual stuff, and he was just an onlooker, I guess. That's what my dad called him. He was just checking up on what I was doing, but he was not threatening. So I must not have, reached a certain level at that particular point.
They just
But
keep. There's rules that are governed. All right. You you've heard of something like, I don't know. There's something like time police. There is something like a time cop. All right, and they don't want people crossing over because if you make too many slips in time, you can't actually come up back into the same time if you're using time travel tech. what you got to do, imagine time as a circle, right? This is why clock's always round, because time in our dimension is a circle. What happens is, when they're splitting time, imagine that imagine if you had the circle made out of a piece of string that's connected, all right? Okay, imagine a circle of string or a necklace, and imagine pinching 1 inch of that necklace and twisting it over on itself, all right, and then creating a little hole. That is where they actually come in. They can't come in, they can either come in just before or just after to alter something, but they can't come in exactly at the same time. This is where that glitch situation happens, you know, like in that Matrix situation. Did you see the cat or didn't you see the cat? It's because they can't come in. So there's always a glitch. There's always going to be one little glitch, you know. And that's why I said, was it interdimensional or dimensional?
I couldn't tell you because when I was a kid, I don't remember any of it because my father just uh, replanted our memories into other parts of our mind. So I don't remember what happened then. I just know what I was doing when the one that showed up in 2007.
Well, the crystal that you're on about, I can explain that from an earthly bound spiritual point of view. That what happens is you've got something called well, it's known in this realm of things as indigo children and stuff like that, and that you can reach crystal level, which is the next one. Okay, up from indigo. Indigo is purple. The reason it's purple, indigo violet, is because that's your crown chakra. People were aware. You look at the Phoenicians. If you used to go back in time and find out where that colour come from, it's to do with Phoenicia. The Phoenicians used to crush snails, okay, to get the dye out, and it was very expensive. And so only the priests wore it. This is why all priests today and vicars and stuff like that wear that purple robe. There's a purple element on them. It's because it's deemed as super expensive and only spiritual people, high ordained people can use it. And that comes from Phoenicia. Now, if you look at Phoenicia and the stuff at Phoenicia and stuff like that, you're talking Enki. You're talking that far back. So, but the crystal, what it is a crystal. You have crystal vision. You look with a kaleidoscope. Do you know what a kaleidoscope is?
Yeah.
A kaleidoscope. You imagine that. Now you imagine a cut crystal, like from a diamond ring. Say your diamond, your ring fell out. It's always got a point on it. Yes.
Yeah.
You know.
Mm-hmm.
You imagine turning it so the flat side is on your eye, and then looking through the light on it and turning it. Yeah. The light goes through and it's refracted and diffracted. Okay. Well, that allows you to see in other dimensions. So they're what they were doing was showing you, perhaps, I didn't listen to your story because I've only just come back, but they were showing you other dimensions all at the same time. It was all converging into source.
Well, that makes sense. It also kind of coincides with the meditation trip I had years ago, where one of the entities or beings that I saw was a crystal male that transformed into a crystal female and then guided me towards a tunnel.
Well, the bone structure of there's a certain amount of animals that have got glass bone structure. Believe it or not, that's not a joke. That is very true. It's well, if you look at crystal, if you look at the standard crystal, the quartz crystal, the crystal the crystal structure is completely aligned. This is why processors are made out of this crystal, because they can tell the structure of the atomic alignment. It's always cubic. Now, if you go back to the Bible and Solomon and stuff like that, now they measured things in cubits.
Mm-hmm.
How did they know that? A cubit is a measurement, okay? So the qubit, they were actually telling you about computers before computers were actually made. I believe that in times gone by, right, even before the pyramids weren't made a few thousand years ago, they've been there many, many lifetimes, like, you know.
Right.
I believe that they were more advanced then than they ever were. You look at the ancient Vedas, you know, the Indian Vedas, the Hindu Vedas, the Vedics. They talked of nuclear weapons in their time were an elephant that got incinerated, you know?
Yeah,
And now
yeah.
the bananas, you know, the flying ships, the helicopters and stuff like that. You go to Egypt, you go to Karnak, in the Karnak temple there, they've got stuff there that look like light bulbs that are carved in walls.
Oh
It's
yeah.
amazing. But they're obviously interventing you somewhere, aren't they? They've obviously, if they were coming to visit you, they're actually trying to impart knowledge to you or to stop you from going somewhere. Would you agree?
Yes, I would.
So which do you think it is? Do you think to impart knowledge? Because that crystal, what I just heard, that's when I come back. I never heard nothing else. That crystal bit you said, that's actually imparting knowledge. They're showing you stuff. Now, that doesn't add up if they're meaning harm.
Well, I kind of, like I said, I don't remember all of it. I just know that part, the middle part, and the end part. I don't know what happened before or after, so I'm thinking I was caught up in between two different fractions.
Right. So, I mean, have you been regressed? Have you tried regression? Do you know what regression is?
I can't afford that.
Um, hmm.
The only person that is capable of doing that at this point would be my father, and he doesn't want to do that because he's afraid that the MIBs will come back.
Yeah, it'd be affected as well. So,
Yeah.
okay, there is another way that you can do it. You can actually ask the questions, right?
Mhm.
And talk into a cassette recorder or your computer mic, like you're talking now, record it and then play it backwards. You might get your own answer.
Sounds like a plan. Sounds good.
Or you could actually write it down, you know, on a bit of paper and a notepad, and automatic writing might kick in. I don't know if you know what automatic writing is.
I sometimes wonder if I don't do that when I'm trying to type on the keyboard.
That does happen on computers, you know.
Huh?
That does happen on computers, you know.
Yeah.
Or automatic a channel. A lot of channels do that. Now, because you're in space, are you in any affiliation to the light or anything like that?
Say that again?
Are you with any affiliation with the Galactic Federation of Light or any entities that are alien or interdimensional based knowingly?
Not that I am consciously aware of.
Because they channel that way. They talk through computers. Check
If I am, they haven't outright let me know about it yet.
They might have let you know in a roundabout way, and I might be putting the icing on the cake and answering your question. Look at
Right.
some videos in your free time, all right? Go to Google and type in how do people connect with alien civilizations through PC or something, and they tell you they just sit at their keyboard and then they get the information. It's like automatic writing. It could be that. I'm not saying it is, but
Right.
always keep a crystal near your computer. I've got a feeling that you've got crystals around you. Always
Okay.
keep a crystal near your computer whenever you're on it. All right.
No,
Um,
I always wear one.
hematite is an excellent grounding one. Magnetic hematite is even better.
Yeah.
Hematite is a masculine energy, but it's very strong, very grounding. If you look at the metaphysical properties of crystals.
Yeah. Well, I always wear a crystal.
And if you need to regenerate a crystal, uh, adventuring is a good one. A cluster of adventuring, they're not expensive, they're little clusters because they come in something called geodes, like an egg. You can crack them open and you can lay a on. So if you feel that your crystal feels weaker, lay the crystal on there and it'll rejuvenate it and cleanse it. Smoky quartz as well, good one. Rutilated quartz is a good one. Celestine, excellent. Because I feel that you're heading towards more crystals. I don't know why. This is what I'm being told that, and whether you can understand that, I don't know.
I've got quite a few of them, so you're pretty much on the mark.
Excellent stuff. But you need to write stuff down, and I don't mean a diary. I mean a book. Have you got a book in your head thinking about writing a book?
Oh, that's already done.
You need to write another one, all right? Because this series is carrying on. They're insistent. They're telling me straight away you need to carry on. It's going to be a sequential thing. There's going to be six books.
Well, that would confirm also one of my meditation trips where I went through and I saw my own library, and there were quite a few books that I seem to have written.
I see the books. Okay. Also elephants. I'm seeing India with you. Prana. You work a lot with prana. You do yoga?
No, I have a really bad back and bad knees now, so I did a lot of exercising and stuff when I was younger.
You know what prana is?
Mm, no, I haven't really looked into that recently. No.
When it's your stature where you're sitting. Okay, your prana is your energy that it's also known as kundalini. This is the problem with development. No matter what religion or belief system you go to, it's always the same. They just call it different stuff. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like one God is Buddha, one God is Jesus, one God is God. You know, one God is Vishnu. You know, whatever. But we're all in the same time period, so how can that be the case? The information is just pertaining to the information that you've got. You know.
Right.
You can only relay it to that level of information that you've got at hand within yourself, within your being, within your psyche. So what I'm saying to you is your prana is an energy that goes up your spinal column. And what happens when you open your chakras, the pranic energy, the kundalini energy, it actually opens up and it flows through your spine. It feels like hot water trickling in your spine. That's what it feels like. Tingling, it feels like very warm water. You know, like if you're in a bath and the water is warm and you've got someone get a jug of water when they wash your hair and rinse your hair off and the water runs down your back.
Yeah, I've been there a few times, yeah.
That's what it feels like, but it's running in your spinal cord, up your spinal column. That's what prana energy feels like, your kundalini. You know, you can relieve a lot of your problems by using that kundalini, visualizing that. You don't have to do the exercise, you just got to sit. A lot of stuff you can do with breathing, okay? So that is not movement.
Okay.
Look at breathing techniques, okay, to do with yoga. You can do that. You've got Raju yoga. You can pull in on that. Okay, you've got something called mudras. Do you know what a mudra is?
Mudra or
Yeah.
mantra?
No, a mudra.
And that one's new on me.
A mudra is hands. The way you click your finger, the way you touch your fingers. Mudra and mandra work in conjunction. All right. Okay. A mandra is where you say, like confirmation, I can be good, or I am good, or I will be good. You know. You see yourself programming, whereas a mudra is actually connecting your fingers. Now, if you look at ninjutsu, they've done a lot of special hand signals and touches like that because they are working on pressure points within their body and their fingers, because they believed with Buddha and stuff like that, you know, the hand of God, you know, the hand of God with the palm up speaks to the hand and all that stuff for the fingers. So look at mudras where you hold your hands and grip your fingers. Mudra, M-U-N-D-R-A, mudra.
Okay.
Because there's a lot
That's a new one for me. So.
You may not feel that you can do a lot because of your ability of movement, but there's a lot more that you can do with your mind and your breath and your mudras, especially your breath. Your breath and your mind, paramount. Look at breathing. You can reach an ecstatic state of enlightenment just through breath.
Yeah, I heard that. I have no problem learning anything new.
Look into it. It might be worthwhile. It may not. There you go. I don't know. But
Well, like I said, I have no problem checking in new stuff. That's all I do is research and go out and try to meditate and all that kind of stuff.
Also, was you given a bracelet in your connection with your dream? I know this is going to sound strange, but I'm being told you were given a communication device for your dream state on your wrist.
If it's my left wrist,
Yes,
then
it
yeah,
is.
then sometimes I feel like there's a bracelet there.
Yes, yes. They're telling me, they're pointing to your left wrist. All right. I'm not guessing. I'm not asking you questions. This information is just being relayed to me. Okay. All right.
Well, you get it right, so they got it right.
Not fishing. There's no fishing there. It's just straight on. Bang, 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 bang. Do you understand what I mean? It's not cold reading. It's nothing like that.
Well, it's not like you could guess that, you know.
But no, what you've got to do, you've got to. All right. Okay. Do you know what a torque bangle is?
Okay, you're starting to break up. Come again?
Do you know what a torque bangle is? Torc.
You're gonna have to write that down.
Torque. Torc. It is. It's a metal
Oh,
bracelet
okay.
that goes round your wrist. You've got two balls on it. Okay. Are you following me?
You keep breaking up, and something's interfering.
They might be trying to stop it. I don't know. You've got a torque bracelet. It's got two balls on it. Okay. And what happens is you've got to push them balls in the point of your wrist. Right, in your dream state. And that will allow you to connect. It works off your nervous system, the electrical energy off your nervous system. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
You just need to learn to connect the two together. There's two factions involved. One faction is trying to talk to you that done the crystal and done the bracelet. They're the faction that's trying to work with you and get the books out. The other faction is trying to stop it, but it ain't going to work, so don't worry, okay?
It keeps glitching out. It keeps sounding like they're like in water and getting muffled. Must be important stuff if I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Not much change.
Oh, they're stopping it, they're blocking it. Let me come out and come back in. Hang on.
All right.
How you doing?
Hello, can you hear me?
People whispering.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Can you hear me?
A little bit better.
What I'm saying is there's two factions. One faction is good that wants to help you write the books, okay? And the other faction can't get here. They can't stop you. You're being protective, put it that way. And you know you are, I feel. I really do feel that deep down, you know, you're protected.
Yeah, I know I've been getting blocked for a lot of things.
Anyway, I hope that's beneficial to you. I'm sorry if it is impromptu, the information coming across.
No, I mean not you, because you're coming in kind of nice, better than before. But it's like every time I try to start to write again, something's just gets in the way all the time.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. As long as you understand what I say and it feels all right with you and it feels that you want to go for it, go for it. But keep a crystal near your PC all the time, okay? Whenever you're on a PC, because it's the electromagnetics that's throwing your system out.
Ah.
You
Okay.
probably suffer from headaches as well. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's the electromagnetic stuff that's interfering.
Yeah, I'm pretty much sensitive to that, and sometimes I screw up the electronics.
Yeah. Yeah, but the thing is that they've got communication with you. It's just that you haven't made the connection yet. They've done the connection their end, but you haven't done the connection your end. Do you understand what?
Yeah, I'll probably try to make a better connection when I go to bed.
Yeah, think of the breath though. The breath is important. The breathing. Okay. Check out breathing techniques online, or yeah, that will get you to a state of connection. Anyway, sorry, hopefully that.
Well, you had some good information there. I'm glad this is being recorded because I'll probably forget half of it.
Oh, you're welcome. No problem. Thanks for accepting it nicely. Because I didn't, you know, I just get what I get.
Anybody else?
I'm here. I'm just very exhausted.
Well, who's My Little Pony here? We got a brony here.
Well, hi. It's not really it's something from my little pet shops that we do, and we just did an Ouija experience.
So how was it?
A little creepy because it kept moving, and well, none of us moved it, but we were fine with that because it's happened before.
Did you record it?
No, we don't, because they say that if you record it, like bad things are gonna happen. So we didn't want to take a risk of that.
Who said that?
There, I might have my friend here. I'm Ashley.
Well, I don't understand where the information would come from, because I personally never had any issues with spirit boards. But then again, I'm a lot older and I had better training when I was growing up, so I don't know.
Well, what we saw was things at the my friend saw things. We saw like the planchette was there, and well, we looked away for like a second because we were talking about something, and then like when we looked back, the planchette just moved by itself. Like,
I don't understand what information there could be. I mean, like, life is, I don't know. Some people know what I mean. I mean,
Life,
life is life. So, what is the information besides what's happening?
well, when we were watching on live sci-fi, like it happened to them where the planchette just moved by itself. Like he thought that it moved by itself, and I think that's what happened.
Oh yeah, that sounded really cool.
Well, where'd you guys get the idea to do it?
I was going to say, you know, you should tread with caution. It's not a game. You know, I would have investigated and fully understood what the crack is. You know what, you know how to protect yourself and stuff like that. You sound extremely young.
Right.
You know, there's rules of engagement when you talk to the spirit world. You know, if you know what you're on about, especially for a spirit board, a Ouija board, if you know what you're on about, they can't fool you, they can't hoodwink you. But if you're not in control, then they will take over the session, and that's where problems occur.
Right. Who gave you girls the idea to use the Ouija board?
Well, we actually have had it. We actually really love paranormal stuff, and by watching a lot of YouTube videos on it, we just give it a try.
Did you not find any YouTube instructionals on how to protect yourself?
They say that like to have like don't record it because it could go wrong, and like we had better to keep calm. Like we looked up some information like keep calm during it so you don't like get crazy.
They didn't teach you to balance yourself before going in, or creating a protective circle, or asking your uh guardians to help you out and protect you in these sessions?
Well, my mom was sitting there during it like to help us. Like my mom was there.
Is she balanced?
Yeah.
Did she create a wall of protection over you?
Yes.
Just
Then
the
how did?
oh, sorry.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
was going to say the protection that you should impart and in place can also be done within the residences where you're doing something. Yeah? Also, water is a great grounder, especially if you're coming down from a situation. It will bring you back down to earth like a shot, or even going to the toilet like a pee. You understand what I mean? When you go for a whittle, I don't know
Yeah.
if you go for a piss, that will ground you straight away. But you definitely need to have a glass of water to pull you down. Also, you really need to learn cleansing and protection. All right, it doesn't matter what your belief system is; it's the way it works. You can't go through life that you're not going to get hurt. It's like driving a car without a seatbelt. You know, if you get into a crash, it may not be your fault. It might be someone else. It's the other drivers out there, yeah? And just as you got unconfident drivers in the real world, you've got unconfident people that are in the spirit world as well, all right? Especially at the levels of what the spirit board can connect to. Because the spirit board is a connection to all rounds to a varying degree, but it's only pending to be the lower level entities that come through. For me. If I want to connect to the higher levels, I have to do it through channeling and meditation.
Okay.
I
So
don't
how
know
long you guys been doing this?
where we're at a bit to it, but I'm a firm believer in protection, cleansing, mending, and
Well, we started watching live sci-fi about like around a year ago, and well, we've been doing it for about a year, but not closely.
You also have to be careful because your age, because you're starting to come into certain gifts, so you have to be careful. Because a lot of these issues come around, 12, 13, 14, 15. And a lot of the stuff that actually happens comes from yourself, not just other opposed entities. That's why you need to be balanced before you go in.
yeah, it's like a super conscious, goes beyond subconscious. It's like a loop back of that already.
You're breaking up again.
Yeah.
But it's like a loop back of that. It comes from the super conscious, not the subconscious.
I can't hear nobody.
Well, we have to go to sleep, so thanks for giving us that information.
Oh, good night.
You're
All
welcome
right.
to.
Good night.
Oh, that was interesting. They tried anyways.
So, do you remember any planets that you've been to?
Me or somebody else?
You're the only one
Um,
who's been to other.
I remember one particular dream. I think I was on I think I was on Mars, but
Ah,
it must have been ages ago or something like that. But I felt a concussion blast twice, and I looked up and I saw another planet crack in half.
was it like a war situation?
It might have been after a war because everything around me was already destroyed. But then again, it could have been from the concussion blast from the other planet.
Did you find it a male planet in general? Was it very masculine? Because
Um,
they say men are from Mars, women are from Venus, you know?
uh, uh, I never really got into that kind of stuff when I had those dreams and those experiences because it was just so natural. It just, it was no big deal. I wasn't searching for masculine or feminine because
No,
all
no. Of the feeling, was it sort of like the energetic feeling? Was it sort of like a masculine orientated? Well, I suppose if it's wartime, it would be more masculine, wouldn't it?
yeah. I know that in my dream, my son was there, so that could have represented something masculine in there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So was he older than you, the same age as you? Was he your son in there?
He was my son in my dream, yes, and he was, God, probably about 13.
Is that older than he is now or younger than he is now?
He's 22 now.
Oh, right, come on. So then that might lead to a point that something happened a little bit of time back in your real life that changed the outcome for where you are now.
Well, it was disturbing to go through that particular episode, but when I have things, well, it could have been, symbolic, yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't remember anything major changing at that time.
Mm. Were they a blue, pale, whitey? Was the skin of these other aliens, these other entities, were they bluey, whitey colour? Really pale blue?
The
Ultra
gray,
pale?
the grays?
No, no, the other ones.
What other? The
I,
only
th-
other,
I thought there was other ones.
um, well,
I thought
there were a
two
few
different.
there were a few events where I felt I was taken on board ship, and they would show me, disasters and this and that. But there was one particular episode I went through where it looked like time streams were pulled together. What I saw was a Nazi walking along with a T-Rex on a chain,
Ah,
and I had that dream 3 times, and each time I have the same dream, it gets closer towards the end of what I was supposed to figure out,
mm-hmm.
and the entity presented it himself or herself as my mom, but
Ah.
then I saw it as an alien because it changed its shape.
There's a lot of people that have had that happen to them, isn't there? Where they've said an alien entity has come up to them in their real life, not even dream state, and sort of like, said to them, "I'm your mum," to younger people. That's crazy, isn't it?
Well, that I never encountered that. Actually most of my ET events happened when I was asleep. There's only been twice when it was just before I would go to sleep.
Have you ever
And they
done
were
ghost yourself? Yeah,
done what?
ghost
Done what?
boxes.
I have the closest I got to a ghost box is a squawk box,
Right, right.
but I never used it. I do EVPs from time to time.
Yeah. I was going to say, has anyone ever tried to connect to you from the alien realm of things, the interdimensional or the alien? Because the interdimensionals, they can come in at any time, any place, anywhere. They're not like sort of like human earthbound spirits. They're evolved big time. So they
Yeah,
can just.
I think I've had quite a few communication that way. I mean, there's been a few times where I'd hear a voice or two off on my left or right ear without without the any kind of electronics around me.
Is that happen when you're sometimes washing up or something in a daydream moment, just going through the motions?
A lot of times they would just present themselves as my mom's voice.
Oh right, yeah, yeah, yeah. But there's a difference, right?
I do now.
So what
I
was
did when I was a kid.
it, the tone, the inflection, the pitch? Did it sound metallic or?
Um, there's been a lot of times where I've heard metallic voices.
Yeah, I was
That
going
was
to say, I
that
was
was
being told about the metallicness with you.
yeah, but that was more, during a phone conversation or during a Skype conversation.
It's crazy stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, and I get the tones in the ears.
What, like DTMF tones, beep, boop, 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 boop.
No, just more like the frequency tones.
All right.
High C, low C, that kind of stuff. The last one I had actually vibrated in my ear.
That's strange, right? I mean, that makes you look at something called tinnitus. You know what tinnitus is, yeah? In general,
Yeah,
yeah?
yeah, I'm not into that.
No, yeah, but could that be someone trying to connect with someone, but our understanding doesn't allow that comprehension to take place?
Yeah, that's what I've been told, and I'm beginning to believe it because depending on how I feel or what I'm going through, that's when I hear the tones,
Hmm, that's crazy.
and it's usually during a good time.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I'm sorry. I know I'm not exactly interrupting. I know that there's voices all around me, and the thing is, I don't believe that I'm scared of them, but there seems to be like a block where I can't hear them, even though obviously I can hear them. Um, not really asking for advice. I just don't understand the difference. I mean, why can't I hear them? You know, to
It's
put
the
it like that.
the filter is in place to stop you from going crazy or mad.
And even if you did, somebody would call you crazy and mad.
That's right. She's got it right. She knows.
Well, more like even if they didn't hear them, they would sense it.
It could be looking. It could be pushing you, saying, "Look, we're here. We know you know we're here. We know you're there, but we can only come down. Spirit can only come down so far. Okay, you've got to raise your vibration to them.
Right. If you're not in the same vibration as them, you're not going to notice.
Can't take place. Okay, you need to be at the same vibrational level. It it seems like it's like you're talking through a brick wall or something. A thin brick wall, and they're letting you know that you're close, but you're not quite close enough. As soon as you make that connection, you've got to put the effort in if you want it. Then that is where communication will take place. They can only come down so far in their level of vibration. It's up to you to raise yourself. This is what amazes me. The adaptability of the human consciousness is amazing. It's like we've been given carte blanche on where we can go and what we can do. It's just knowing how to do it.
Right. But
Yeah.
shoot, there was one time when I was trying to get to sleep and something punched me in my back, so I went to go look,
Mm.
and I heard in my head of somebody getting slapped, a woman crying, and a man saying, "Why are you so unintended?"
I know why that is exactly. I know why that is exactly. Let me see if it. First of all, just listen. Don't swallow it. Create a buffer zone so you can dissect the information I'm telling you. Don't just let it go in your ears. Now I've told you to create a buffer that will stop you just accepting it, all right? Do you understand what I mean?
Hmm.
Because I've already told you to create this buffer space so you can think about what I'm going to say. What happened is you was in another dimension, but in this reality, and you were witnessing a situation that was going on with a couple, like an argument and stuff like that, but you picked up on it because the emotion was so strong. This is the power that the human has got, is emotion. The more emotion you put into something, the more powerful you can become, and it breaks the realms. This is why, if you're a mason and stuff like that, you do the chanting. It's called charging. You charge yourself. It's like if you've got a flat battery, you charge it. Why do you charge it? Because it's flat. If you're in a meditation circle, you'll have someone that's a medium, you'll have someone that's a physical medium, someone that's a spiritual medium, you'll have probably someone that's a healer and someone that's into tarot and someone that's into runes, and then you'll have someone that's don't feel that they can do anything, but they're a charge, they're a battery. If you took them out of a circle, no one would have a connection. Do you
Right.
understand what?
Yeah, yeah, I understand that completely. I've been there from time to time. I've experienced that and I've seen that.
What I'm saying is because in that realm, in that dimension, in your space where it happened in real time, there was an argument going on in another dimension that occupied your same space. And
Right.
because it was so highly charged with emotion, it broke the barrier. And because you're sensitive, you witnessed it.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, it makes perfect sense. I mean, there's no debate on that. I've gone through that so many times. There's even been times when I would would take me 15 minutes to get out of the so-called REM state,
Hmm.
and I would have to find my way back here.
Did you have the silver cord?
Um, I never looked for it because I
Right.
was like too busy just trying to get back into this frequency.
Imagine if you ever get stuck there again, okay, or you can't come back and you want to come back. Imagine wriggling your toes or your fingers. All right, that will bring you back in your body from an out-of-body experience, an OBE.
Hmm.
Okay, so if you feel that you're out of control and you can't get back, and then panic starts to set in, imagine wiggling your toes and your fingers, and you'll pull straight back in. Okay.
No problem. We're echoing.
Yeah, it's crazy. Isn't it? Just getting a coffee. I've been up all night, you know. This is the first time I've talked on a hangout.
Me too.
Look, there you go. There's a first for everyone, isn't there?
Anybody else want to say something?
I don't know. I don't think it was a dream or a dream or a daydream. I don't know, but I think I could call it a woman walked out of this building. It was this planet. I don't know if it was perpetually dark or it just seemed like it was night. I think that they came out at night, but they had this technology or something, and it was all like blue for some reason. It was all blue, and what they would do would they would turn on like this radio, and they would just listen to these noises, um,
Was
like noises from the universe or from somewhere. Um,
was the colour blue the same colour blue as what you get in a coffee shop where they have them blue electric lamps to catch flies? Was it that colour blue? Sort of like an electric blue.
yeah, it was definitely well, I think
Thought so.
so. It was definitely some kind of a neon,
Yeah.
darkish electric blue, kind of darker, I guess.
That's how their energy tends to come through on the blue wavelength. The green wavelength, if you talk on what your vision can see, if you look at the electromagnetic spectrum, which is what all wavelengths is, whether it's X-ray, microwave, gamma ray, ultraviolet, infrared, etc. If you look at that scale, we can only see a tiny amount. Okay. Now, out of that tiny amount, you've got all the colours that we see, but there's a billion other colours and all that. And with every colour, there's a radio station, if you like. There's a connection. There's a spirit realm with every frequency. And they tend to come in on an electrical charge as a carrier wave. They need a carrier wave because, you know, if you think, where do these waves come from? Well, if you look at it, we're being bombarded by the sun by neutrinos, okay? Neutrinos go to the center of the Earth. Nothing can stop them. It doesn't matter what amount of lead, what amount of concrete, they go to the core of the Earth. So these are positively charged photonic particles that are supercharged, and they're bombarding everything and everyone. This is why I believe mankind has got to a level of where we have, you know, within evolution, is because it's the radiation that has mutated our DNA, etc., and our RNA to actually get to the state of where we are now as a species.
So, what did you say about blue?
The blue, because of the photons that are being emitted, and it is photonic. Everything is light, as you said. Because it's photonic, okay, it's electrically charged. So it's not only a photon can be a wave or a particle. It's the observance and the adherence of the observance that actually changes it between the wave and the particle. Okay. So if you look at it from that point of view, all radio stations are particles as well as waves, from a science point of view. because observing the wave actually turns it into a particle. Observing a particle turns it into a wave. So, you know, if you've got energy that's being coming off the sun, neutrinos are coming down, okay? You've got something called panspermia, what some people believe in, where we believe life, Genesis, the start of life on Earth, come from an asteroid, you know, with bacteria from that. But they need a carrier wave. They need something to channel that energy, to carry them on that wave. Every single planet in the solar system emits radio waves. Even Cassini, look at Cassini. If you look at my page, there's a thing where I've decoded the Cassini one, where it's from Saturn. There was a signal that was called the Whale signal from Saturn back in 1986, I think. And I've got that signal, and if you listen to it, it says, our heaven, what's it say? I wrote it down here. Hang on. It's our fascinating father, our forefathers fought the fight for. That's what was the signal that I broke down from the Cassini signal. I actually sent it to NASA. I never got a thing back, and I sent it to SETI as well, which is to search for extraterrestrial life.
You probably won't.
No, I won't. They know we're in connection with them. You know that. You know that lady, don't you?
Yes, I do.
But what I'm saying is, if you listen to that, you will see it. I mean, I've done a 2-hour video on it, you know, literally, and I'll show you the waveform, the data streams that are coming off that, where I've decoded it. You've got holographics that are in the sound. I mean, what sort of technology is that?
Certainly not local.
No, definitely not local. Holographics in sound.
I don't know. I always wanted the code to tap into the alien internet, because I'm sure it's more interesting. It's a joke.
Yeah.
It's still true.
The alien internet, actually, the Kabbalah, the Tree of Life. If you look at the Tree of Life, if you imagine that Tree of Life that you see is only a central cross section, all right? You imagine if you had an apple and cut that apple in half, all right? What you're seeing on that one face, that one dimension that you can only see on a flat piece of paper, is half of the apple. You've got to think in the realm of 3D and perspective, okay? And realize that the back of the apple is rounded and there's many nodes. The nodes are the dots on the tree, all right? They're called Sephiroth. Sephiroth means sphere within the Kabbalah, within the Tree of Life. You've got the Tree of Death as well. So from there, you can literally have the other half of the apple, and it will give you the GPS locations of all the energy points within Earth. And that's how they traverse the timelines, through the Kabbalah, the wisdom of the Kabbalah. I don't know, what do you guys think, Matt? You're welcome to disagree. I ain't got a problem with that. I just know what, you know, I know that for me is to be true.
Well, I know that we get places with our mind, although it may seem we get there with our feet. Your mind is how you navigate through the universe. I don't know. I don't walk anymore, so
Well,
empty space.
you connect to that stream, your mind forever. You know, and there's no such thing as empty space. It's like there's no such thing as junk DNA. It's just DNA that hasn't been activated yet, and they've proven as well scientifically that DNA is light activated as well. See, everything comes to light. Why is everything coming to light? You know, because light is technically a waveform. It's got sound to it. So how's the internet working now? It's working through light.
I also think that part of that junk DNA is something that science doesn't want to admit to begin with.
Yeah, I don't know anything. I don't
Exactly.
know about it exactly, but I'm sure there's some purpose to that.
I don't think any of it's junk.
You look at the symbol of Yahweh, YWRA, you know, the name Yahweh, yeah? That is the first chemical element to do with our DNA on a chemical element structure that makes our DNA up. And that's strange, the acronym of Yahweh comes up as that. This is what I mean, I'm probably going to upset some people, hope God I don't. Right, this is what I believe the Bible to be. Now, if you look at when the Bible was wrote, okay, it was heresy, regarded as heresy. You could be burnt at the stake for doing anything that was paganistic or whatever, or science or whatever, that was out of the realms of the Bible Belt, if you like. And so what happens is they encrypted the messages within the Bible. It says, I just believe it's a science book. I really do. I don't believe it's allegory for something biblical. There's nothing in there as far as I have information over the last 3 eons of time. Science. There's lots of science in the Bible. Loads of it.
Well, I mean, I know it's a metaphor. Um, there's a caveat to that, and that I don't disregard something about it. But yeah, I mean, it's a metaphor. Metaphorical science. I don't know if that made sense. Hey, that guy. You distracted me. Sorry.
If you was to go back to the 1980s and what we had for computers then, you'd say what we're doing now is magical. It's out of this world. You know, you wouldn't believe it. It's impossible. But look what we've got now. You know, look what we're doing now. I mean, if you was to go back to the 1900s and show them a torch, they think you're a demon or a god, wouldn't they?
They'd hang you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they do something with you because they won't like it.
Yeah, but I mean, these are all stories. Time, time goes back on itself. So that's why I don't understand the bad parts of history. I mean, time overlaps itself into the past. So I don't really understand why history seems so negative. And of
Because
course, I mean, it's how you read it, but still some things I just can't stomach.
the people in power that have always been in power, that controlled Earth, that enslaved mankind in which way or the other through eons of time, control history.
Right.
After 100 years, all your history is gone. This is why history years and years ago to the inept people used to be all verbal. It was only when the Bible had to be changed from Latin. You had the Protestants. This is where the Protestants come from, okay? Because they were known as the Protestants. They've educated people that could speak Latin, believed that everyone had the right to have the Bible, okay? And the papal bull was signed to say that, you know, no, everyone can't read the Bible. This is only for God's chosen people, which are the educated people that could read Latin. But the Protestants went on and they won it. They got it done, and they were now known as the Protestants. Because if it wasn't for these educated people that could speak Latin, that fought for the unwise people, the uneducated people, the people that couldn't read or write, we wouldn't be where we are today. We changed Catholicism on its head, and even today it's known as the Mother Church. It doesn't care who it adopts, it says it's the mother church, and they accept everyone, including aliens. They've said that. They're
And that's
even willing to
recent.
baptize an alien. Yeah, that is recent. Yeah. So they're making. Rome has always controlled stuff. Rome has always controlled stuff. They always will, as long as, you know, this is why they've got the, why do you think the Vatican, why do you think the three major states, you've got the Vatican, Washington, D.C. and London, okay? Now, within London, you've got the Metropolitan Police, okay, and then you've got another police that is the central part of London. That is the banking sector, all right? Within that sector, that's within 1 square mile, you have got Cleopatra's Needle. There's one of Cleopatra's Needle there, okay, within there. All right. Now, why is there Cleopatra's Needle there? Now, let's go to Washington, D.C. You've also got a needle there. Now, that's the war element, okay, within the world. Now, let's go to the Vatican. That's the spiritual element. And they've got an Egyptian obelisks there, okay? So why do you think they've all got obelisks within these places of power that control the world? The reason being is because they they believed in what Egypt believed in. They believed in Horus, Isis, and Osiris. They don't want to tell you that. If you was to type in Google obelisks found at the Vatican and stuff like that, the pine cone and all that means the pineal gland and stuff like that. That comes from Druidism. Druidism is a stem from shamanism and a step below paganism. Paganism covers Wiccan, Alexandrian witchcraft, Gardanian witchcraft, Wiccan, and then you've got spin-offs like Thelema, then you've got the Masons, you've got the Scottish Rite, you've got the Jesuits. It's a big, big game, and they're the ones with all the power, and they're the ones with all the control. And they don't want people knowing, because if they did, they would lose the control. Because once you've learned the ability of connection, you're never going to be imprisoned by anyone or anything, because you can escape through your mind, through meditation. There's no imprisonment.
So, Robin in the chat, I don't think Jesus was fictional. I think he was an aspect of God. It's like one is the whole and the whole is one. Um, you know, Yahweh. I mean, God is God.
Magician.
Well, whatever you want to say about it. I mean, yeah, I think Jesus was God, and I think Yahweh is God, and I think the thing is, God is God. So, I mean, I think God suffers. I think God is all powerful. I think, you know, I don't think it has anything to do with Jesus, except for if you're reading the Bible to see God, then that's what you see. But I'm not gonna say you can see it anywhere, because some things are specifically meant to show God.
I personally think that Jesus is a spin on the word Jesus, right? Now, Jesus is French for I am. Now, there's a word called etymology. Etymology is how words change over time. Have you ever played Chinese whispers? Okay, where you start off with a word and pass it through everyone, and it changes as it gets through people. I believe that is the word Jesus. Jesus means I am in French, yeah? So it seems pretty ironic to me that people that are in that belief system say, I am, yeah? I think all it is you reclaiming sovereignty as a human being, taking control of your own life and saying, I am me. But because people aren't taught that, they believe it's just Jesus, you know, instead of Jesus, which is I am. I don't know, that's up for interpretation. That's down to your personal belief system and structure that will portray what you feel about that. I don't know.
So,
Oh,
what does that mean? Like when people like get really angry at something, they're basically saying, "I am Christ."
Well, Christ means Christos. Christos means oil. When you're anointed, anointment is always done with oil.
So
That's the way it is, you know, and you know, virgin olive oil. You're that's how you're. That's what Christos is. Christos means oil. Christ, Christ, Christos. People don't understand how this world works. It works completely different to 99.9% of what people are taught or believe. Have a look. Have a look at.
Have a look at.
Serum. Type it. And christened, oil, baptized, oil, blessed, anointment. Check it out. I'm not bullshitting. I'm not telling you fibs. Sorry.
I don't even know what lies are. I think if you make up something and it's good, then it's a story. If it's bad, then, well, I don't really know what that means either. It's funny that in the Bible they're always talking about oil for his hair, oil for his feet. If you wanted me to say something, I would say it's a way for God to slip into the world. You know what I mean? I mean, he needed a way in, and everybody's suffering, talking about it at least. I forgot what else I was going to say.
That's all right. It'll come to you. That's been a good talk tonight. I hope I haven't bored you lot or whatever.
No, no boredom here.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say, it says in what I read, I am that I am. And I always
Yeah,
took that to mean that that's all he was. He was an empty vessel. And somehow that empty vessel is the light, the way, and the truth.
but that's what I mean by I am. That's you do.
Whether that's unique or not
I am.
would, well, it would be unique depending on the particular person.
Yeah,
Whether
but
you want to say Christ was particularly unique, I mean, that would be that would be for the beginning and the end
but you've got
story.
to you've got to look at though that who had control of a lot of the books and stuff like that. You look at the French Foreign Revolution, okay, how that was started, okay. These peoples are rollers and shakers, all right. Yeah, you didn't have that for nothing. These are the people that dictated our future. There's a big plan, and we're not part of it.
We don't really have to be.
No.
We have our own future.
But when you say there's a big plan, you're making the plan as you say it. I mean, especially if you say that you're like, that you're a creator. I mean, when I say someone has a conspiracy against me or wants to hurt me, I mean, I'm creating that. Um,
Yeah, I know,
the
but
hard
then
thing,
the case, you're
uh,
like,
hold on.
it's only when you understand that words actually create realities that you're perhaps more cautious with what you say.
There's also intent.
Oh yeah, for sure, intent. You
Yeah.
could even be coming from a negative point of view to push the agenda along to actually create that situation. So say like the lady now that's talking, say like she had a spot on her nose, and I said, look at that spot when she is in company of other people. That I knew that would cause her embarrassment, right? So I had the intent to cause that lady embarrassment on purpose, and that was wrong of me. But if I just didn't acknowledge it and just carried on talking while us three were there and never even looked at it and noticed it or whatever, then, there's no harm done. There's lots of ways to push an agenda across.
Yeah, one thing is being aware of it, and the other side of the coin is supporting it by letting it happen
Yeah,
or going with it.
being silent no to it when you know it's going on. That's where I mean, like that, them people without the Ouija board. If I didn't say about protection and cleansing, I wouldn't have been out. I wouldn't feel comfortable with myself. Do
Right.
you understand what I mean? It's like you said about stuff as well, yeah? You said that out of the kindness of your heart, you know? To preserve someone, to stop them from falling over. That was showing a caring and a compassion there for humankind. You didn't know them people, but you still spoke about it. Same as
Right.
I did. Showing just genuine humanitarian concern. Now, you know, there'll be a lot of people that have stitched someone up. I don't know if you know what that means, but they'll make them fall in the hole. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
You know, they'd make them fall over. They'd make them hurt themselves. And this is the problem. No one wants to pass this. It's come to a time of enlightenment where knowledge should be shared. Now, to a degree, knowledge is shared with the internet. It's made a vast improvement. But people are still perplexed with the information as to development. Because it's out of their realms of experience. You know, you talk about Cornelius Agrippa, you talk about Blavatsky, you talk about whoever, whatever. Hermes, Trismegistus, you talk about Thoth, you talk about all these legends, like, you know, and it's like, people ain't got a clue what you're talking about, and then when they read the book, it's written in an old way. They don't know in what context to take it. The information is out there. It's been out there for eons. It's just that people just didn't know. And this is what I think is a problem with the people that are on the lower levels. It just, their experience wasn't open to them to develop, to grow, to allow themselves to cross over, to move on to the next level on plane of existence.
A certain amount of preparedness. Because if one isn't prepared, they're not going to want to know about it.
Mm. But then again, you're going to have a lot of people that are into ghost hunting that aren't interested in developing themselves in any way, shape, or form. They're just in it for the buzz, and that's fine, I guess.
Yeah, a lot of it's mechanical for a lot of people, yeah.
You know, but I would have thought it would have allowed them to perhaps pursue their own personal development better. But you know, it just could be coming from my angle, and I could be all wrong. You know.
Oh, yeah, it's just like the two girls that were on earlier tonight. It's something to do.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean anything until something goes wrong.
Yeah, and then you got, you know, it's a classic thing of Fantasia with that Mickey Mouse when he is underneath that wizard. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Where he chopped the broom up, and you know, then all trouble broke loose, didn't it?
Opened up the box, they put nothing back.
Mm. Well, Pandora's box is another one, isn't it? You know, the story behind that.
Yeah, I was going to say that, but I was trying. A lot of people don't know Pandora's box.
See, we're having a conversation in sort of like real time. You know, it's going beyond human now.
Yeah.
It's almost like we're discussing it before it comes out of our mouths, and then it comes out of our mouths a split second later.
Yep. Just like there's a lot of people watching now that haven't got a clue what we're saying.
I'm sure.
It'll come to them sooner or later, and then they'll go, "Oh yeah, that's right."
Yeah. It will unravel itself in their sleep.
Yep. I think it has to do a lot with timing and certain doors opening at that time. An approach, as it was.
I mean, I haven't heard no one talk about. I mean, I've only been here sort of like, when I say 5 minutes, I've only been hanging about this scene on here for about, I suppose, a month at tops, 3 weeks. Okay, and you're the first person I've heard that brought aliens anywhere near it. You know, within a conversation of it. Other people might have had it, or may not have been witness to it, but I thought that was really interesting. You know.
I think it's all connected myself.
Oh yeah. Well, everything's connected, isn't it?
Right. Yeah.
It's just look, they run different quadrants, if you understand what I mean, and I do mean quadrants.
Mhm.
It's like, you know, they've got their sector, and it's like, you know, you can't come over this side, you're from that side, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know that one.
And they're very, it don't matter where you come from, even if the entities within that realm, within that space, within that time are very peaceful, loving, generous, caring, compassionate entities, right, towards life. The guard system, the protection system that runs the grid is not. The perimeter of that.
Well, it's like the scaffolding that people use to build a building isn't the building. You know, it's what they work on to create it. That's better than what I thought I was going to say.
Yeah, but the scaffolding still needs a building to go around, doesn't it? Otherwise, it'll crumble. You're only. This is a good point, actually. You've reminded me of it. You can only build a tall tower if you've got a firm base, if you've got good foundation. Now, this is where I was saying to, what is your name? Durangi, is it? Duran? Duran?
Oh, Georgiana.
Georgiana. I was saying to Georgiana that, you know, you start off development, protection, cleansing, and then move up from there. You've got to have a firm foundation so you can build your tower tall, because if you build on sand, your tower's going to get so high and it's going to keep crumbling, you know?
Without the foundation, you can't have the balance.
That's right, that's right, that's right. So that was a good point you brought up there, you know, to jog me into thinking what I just said, because that will be important, paramount to anyone that was trying to take this level of connection seriously, to see if they can get the information over. Because I really do feel that myself that they want the key people, the runners that are in the other side on the spirit radio level of stuff. I really do believe that they want to make a solid connection, and almost, you know, like a connection bridge. I really do believe that, a solid one, not one that goes dit, 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 with ticking noises and 30-second words or something. I
Yeah.
really believe they want a proper psychic telephone. I really do think that.
Well, it would help, at least for them.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you think of all the minds, all the great minds, you know, even if you go far back as Socrates, Aristotle, Nostradamus, whoever, okay, you go to these minds, and all that knowledge is gone. Well, it isn't gone, but what I'm saying is, you think all that information you could pull back into this time to escalate our potentiality, our future.
Oh yeah, I
Our,
think we've already done that. I think, and I know not many people want to hear this, but I think they have most of that in the underground bases.
oh yeah, well, you're talking Dulcie and stuff like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, yeah. Yeah. Well, transhumanism is the next one, isn't it? That's the next one that's coming in, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't want to be a party to that one.
Yeah.
I know they're trying real hard, but I'm not
Yeah.
in support of that. Definitely not.
We've even got a doctor here that's had an implant put in his arm that controls his nervous system.
Good luck on that.
Yeah. It will come to that time. It will come to that time where, you know, you're going to be, you know, you're not going to be able to compete in sports. You're not going to be able to do this or go on the internet without something in the future. Do you understand what I mean?
Oh yeah, yeah, that's another version of the Mark of the Beast.
Yeah. They'll buy you from necessities. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's really sad for them.
Mm. Mm.
Ow, my shoulder.
Mars is boring, Aaron.
And I'll tell you what's strange to me, right? Why is a place in America called Sedona and you've got a place on Mars called Sedona? That's really strange, isn't it?
Yeah, considering. What's even stranger is that they have a comic book that came out in like the mid 50s, and they had the face of Mars on it.
Oh, did they?
I don't remember the name of the comic book, but I saw the cover for it, and I saw the date. I think it was 1956, but don't quote me on it. That I found very interesting, considering we never really didn't get there till 70s or 80s. I don't remember. I'm not too cool on dates.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that are going to Mars, isn't there, for good? Allegedly.
Yeah, that's what I hear. I don't think I'd want to go. I think I've already been there, so who knows?
Yeah. You never know. You may get to see him. So, what do you think about Phobos and stuff like that with the monolith on Phobos, so they say, and Ipsipomus? Look at Ipsipomus, the planet Ipsipomus.
The one that's destroyed the satellites?
No, I'm talking the one that's black and white. It's a black and white globe. It looks like the Death Star.
Oh, that one. Oh, yeah, that's probably where they got the idea for that.
Yeah. Well, you know that they're in the stream. All these people, the writers and all that, do the Rain Man, don't you? You know what I mean by the Rain Man, don't you?
Say that last word again?
Rain Man.
Rain Man?
Yeah. It's for automatic writing, basically.
Oh.
Because the information flows like rain, and that's what Rain Man means. I mean, look
Okay.
at, you know, like if you just look at the film The Rain Man, yeah, there's an autistic guy. He's a real guy, lived in America, and he could tell you how many matches fell down before they hit the floor without even counting them. It was like he was plugged into the Matrix, the grid system. So his brain was oscillating at a different frequency, and he is fully connected, but on a human level, he could not communicate properly.
Probably because the information was going too fast.
Yeah. Or the earthbound level was going too slow, and he weren't interested. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Either one or the other, whichever. Well, that was where the Rain Man film got the idea from. If you just type in Rain Man, come up Wikipedia to tell you about this real guy. He was a mathematician genius, absolute genius. He could tell you stuff just off the top of your head, and he had a memory as bigger than anything. But where he lacked in human emotions, where he is classed as disabled, he excelled any human that's ever lived in others, like mathematics and memory. And it's quite amazing, really.
I heard he died, what, 10 years ago, 20 years ago?
Something like that. Yeah. It's you know, it was a blessing in a lot of ways, but you know, his parents must have been worn out, bless them.
Yeah, probably were. But yeah, they probably did there's probably a lot of remote viewing on all this stuff.
Yeah, you got the Indigo Road, Indigo Swan. He's dead now. He was a spiritualist, and he set up under
Ingo
our
Swan?
Indigo Swan, yeah.
Ingo Swan, yeah. Okay, yeah.
He was a spiritualist, and he set up. He's doing remote viewing, and the American military decided to pick it up because of the Russians wanted to do it. So they contacted him and got in touch with SRI, Stanford Research Institute. And the Stanford Research Institute, this is where that film come across with stare at goats and they die. You know, they took the piss out of it, if you're not, well, sorry. They took the joke out of it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And turned it into a bit of a joke film. But that did actually happen at SRI. And a load of spin-off, the thing they found is they tried to take the spiritual out of it because it is just remote viewing, where you're looking through other dimensions and other spaces and time. And they called it CRV, which stands for Coordinated Remote Viewing. Now, coordinated remote viewing is where they're given a grid reference, and they're given sections of a map and told to locate anything, any abnormalities or any observances that were there that weren't, you know, supposed to be there or predictable to be there, and they had to document it. And they had a lot of hits. Well, SR, they found out that people, even though they'd done it the unspiritual way, which is the military way, not caring, just kill, shoot, and all this stuff like that, they found out it was still activating the spiritual side of people that were in the army.
Well, it would have to, because it's all connected.
Yeah.
You have to use your spirit to get there.
A lot of people couldn't deal with it. that were in the forces. Some of them, you know what I mean? If you know what I mean.
Yeah, it can be a bit trippy. I've done a few RV, remote views myself.
Yeah, yeah. Well, if you go with psychometry is where you pick the emotional fingerprint off something, okay? And you can do a reading off it and tell all of its history and stuff like that, yeah, or about its own stuff if it's old. Well, that psychometry, you can actually do remote viewing through that level of stuff as well. You know, it allows you to dive into that time, that space.
Hmm.
But they wouldn't have wasted all that money on it if it weren't founded. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, they're still doing it.
Yeah, it still goes on, but it's just escalated. I mean, you had Majestic 12, didn't you? Look at Majestic 12, which was the governing body which was set up after Roswell
Right.
for alien encounters. And then you had different psyop stuff, you know what I mean? Psychological operations. It's all connected. They just don't want you to know about any of this stuff. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's all connected. It's all big, one giant rubber ball.
But you've got to start somewhere, and you start developing. That's the place to start. Start developing, start investigating, start connecting, start getting information, and then it all falls into place. It's like building a puzzle. You can't build from the center out. You normally build the outsides first, the edges, and then you fill in the center, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, then you come to find out that no matter what you do, you can't tear it apart once it's done.
No, oh no, you can't unsee the scene. Do you know what I mean? You can't unknown the known. You can't unhear the heard.
You could try, but it ain't gonna work. It's just gonna drive you nuts.
Yeah, yeah, you can fool yourself, but it won't work because you know. It's like once you know, you know.
I can't unsee it.
Anyway, we're dominating this conversation. I better shut up a minute.
Well, we've given opportunity. Nobody else wants to seem to talk.
You may not be able to unsee it, but you can unmake it.
Yes, but it's still in the records.
It's still in the Acacia records. It's still
Yep.
in the.
Not if it didn't actually happen.
Well, this is what I'm on about. This is where the idiosyncrasies come in with the time loop. If you was trying to step over time and create a split-off dimension, you're still going to have that split second where that glitches, and that glitch is the key marker of another time loop has been created.
Right. If it's a fixed time,
Just
you
shine
can
more
go back
light.
in time and try to change
More
it,
light
but
forever.
it's still going to be in the records.
Oh, it's wrote down for sure. I mean, look at this is what froth was about. You know, the art of writing. You know, and if you have a look at the Egyptian stuff, they have scales and they have the heart on one side on scales and a feather in the other. It's got a balance.
Mm-hmm.
Now, does that mean it's got a balance to you? That you've got to make it right, or does it mean it's got to be balanced to the weight of the feather? Do you understand what I mean? You've got different ways of looking at it, ain't you?
Yeah, I think it has to do with balancing yourself.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's justification of self. Does it sit well with you and your conscious? Can you go to sleep at night knowing that?
Right.
Basically. Have we talked out or what? Or I don't know.
I don't know. I know there's people still here that I can see, but nobody's yapping.
Mm.
I'm not talked out. I'm just kind of freezing here.
Put a blanket on.
Light a candle.
I've got a giant blanket, but I don't know. I've got like tons of electronics on me.
I just don't know what to say.
Say anything. Bring up any topic.
He's stuck.
It will come to when we start talking about something, you know what I mean?
Right.
Has anybody
I'm listening to this song.
happened to them recently?
Say that again.
Has anyone had anything creepy happen to them recently?
This is what I'm saying. It's amazing what you can get used to.
Right.
Perhaps what some people will find creepy, other people find normal.
Only thing that's been going on lately that has been out of the norm for me is that I've been seeing people out the corner of my eye for like past 2 months and actually feeling a presence at about 3 inches from me, but I don't get any bad feelings off them.
So have you actually sat down and asked them what they want? Come on, say, look, I know who you are. Sit on the edge of your bed and say, look, I know who you are. I can see you there. I sense you there. You're showing yourself to me. What do you want? Have you literally done that sort of thing?
Basically, I just, acknowledge in my head, because I know they can possibly hear me, that, I know you're there. So long as you don't harm me, I'm cool with your presence.
But don't you want to find out what their presence is there for? Because obviously they're interested for something, right?
No, if they keep it up, I will.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe they're waiting in the background for you to pick that blood up and start writing that book.
Probably.
You know?
Now that I think about it, it could be one of my guides or whoever saying, hey, you're supposed to be working.
I do believe so, you know.
I see spiders and very tall things and little things and black UFOs out of the corner of my eye and just out there.
Excuse me.
And I just say hello. I
Yeah,
assume they just came to see me.
yeah, I've been seeing a lot of uh, dark, I guess they could be UFOs outside my window, but they're more like blotches, and I know they're outside my window, but not in the house.
Do you believe it's escalating you two? Do you believe the alien presence for you two is escalating? And do you feel that that there's a rift coming, that there's something that's going to escalate, you know?
Well, from my end, it does feel like things are starting to change, but I'm not quite sure to which direction, but I don't think it's bad.
It's more escalation of consciousness and a realization that it's always been like this.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
perhaps the thing, you know, your awakening process, your
Yeah.
resolvence to things that are around. It's not just what you can see visually, hear audibly, touch physically. You know, you're awakening inside, you know.
Yeah, the more I wake up, the more I seem to see. It's always been there, so it's just I consider it an acknowledgement at this point.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't faze me, it doesn't bother me. It's just like, okay, where did that come from?
They might be upping the amperage gently and
Could
to
be.
bring you into full consciousness. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, there could be because the more
'Cause
I get involved with stuff like this and the more I want to, I know I'm supposed to be doing something. It's just that some of the things I want to do, I'm prevented financially because there are certain things I do need to do for what I know I'm supposed to be doing.
oh, for sure, but you're doing what you can with the cards you've been dealt, right? I.e., coming in there,
Right.
talking, educating. Because even though you may not feel that you've achieved nothing, you might have opened people's thoughts up to ideas and realizations that they never even considered before.
Right. My feeling is that I should be stepping up to more work in it and letting more out. It's just that I guess this is my first step into actually doing an interview type thing. So
Mhm.
I say,
Well,
what the
this is
heck?
the first time in here, so this is my first time in a hangout ever.
Mine too.
So we're both virgins, like, you know. And it seems like the regulars that are always chatting have stood back a bit.
Yep.
I think it's a case of sink or swim, isn't it? They're making us sink or swim. We either fall flat on our faces or we breathe water, you know, breathe air. Do you know what I mean? Tread water.
Mm. Yeah, this definitely it's definitely time for me to move forward and move up instead of just sitting. Not that I've been sitting. It's just another level,
Mm, mm, mm.
and I think the doors are starting to open again.
Well, yeah, you know, light can come in through many sources. You've only got to have one little pinprick in the veil, and light will shine through. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, to realise that there is light at the end of that tunnel. You know, and
Hmm.
it gives you something to aim for and strive for. You know, you're not sure what yet, but you're going in that direction because it's a pointer.
Yeah, definitely.
No, I've enjoyed tonight. Hopefully, it ain't bored everyone.
Well, we can't be too boring because it's still here.
You could have booted us, I suppose, couldn't
I got nowhere better to be.
they?
It's 2 a.m. Do you know where you are today?
7 a.m. Night.
I realized, definitely in quotes, that even though we think we're talking about the same thing, we're seeing it from completely different angles. Like I could say Cranberries Zombie, and we could even say the lyrics together, but it's not. We're not singing the same thing. And paradoxically, of course, we're saying the same thing. It's the same thing, you know.
Well, that's
Well,
what makes
that's
it
what makes it.
that's what makes it work.
Yeah, that's what makes us so wonderful and so diverse. We've all got our idiosyncrasies, you know. Um, my truths may not be your truths, but or your truths may not be my truths, but at least I appreciate that they are your truths. May not be for me, but they're your truths, and I acknowledge that, you know, that's the possibility that I may not have even looked at.
Without the diversity, you can't learn.
I mean, I'm not steadfast in. I'm flexible. I'm adaptable. I think that's the great thing about humans is
Mm.
they do adapt and overcome. There's an old saying that, you know, still water goes stagnant, running water stays clean, and I think that runs true. I think you've got to reanalyze, reassess yourself, your systems, your belief systems, counter check stuff. It's like, you know, when people say they feel this, they feel that when they're doing ghost box or whatever, from a spiritual point of view, if you feel stuff, what I do a process of checking myself and cleansing myself before I do go in, yeah, go into that. If I'm consciously going in to do a reading or whatever, I literally check myself 100% out, how I feel, you know, how hot I am, how cold I am, my emotions, everything like that. So that when I go into that point, I might get a pain in my knee. That might be an information to pass over to someone else to say, you know, they've got knee trouble. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's like these precursors are mandatory for me. This sequence of events is like almost like setting off a missile or something. You know, you've got to go through a sequence. Do you understand what I mean?
Oh
So that
yeah.
when you're there, if you know if there's anything different, you know it's not you. You know it's something else.
It's part of the growth system.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I don't get how sometimes this process isn't adopted by others, but that's just my misunderstanding. Misunderstanding, maybe. I don't know. It's because I've come from a different area. I would think that some people would normally go from sort of like ghost hunting to find their spirituality. Yeah. Well, I've come the reverse round. I've come from spirituality to look at ghost hunting to see what the crack is there, because I know there's a difference. I know there's a separation, and that separation seems consciously in place by the powers that be that control time
Mm.
within the realm. That's purposely done. That abyss, that gap is there for reasons. That's my.
You
That's
know,
my.
no doubt, what is it? Don't speak. Exactly 42 seconds. It says together.
Say that again.
Yeah, can you repeat that? Sorry.
Well, you know the book. It says the meaning of life is 42. Well, exactly 42 seconds.
Oh, I know
No
what you're on.
doubt.
Do you know what
What?
you're on about?
Do I?
No, you. A bit of a
What's
lag.
up?
Right. Okay, 42. You're on about The Hitchhiker's Guide. What a brilliant book. Douglas Adams.
Yeah, but wait. No doubt. Don't speak the video. At 42 seconds, it says together. That's what I was saying.
All right. I thought you was on about the number 42, means that, you know, the ultimate answer is 42.
Well, yeah, I am. And at
Well,
the point in
42,
that video, it says together.
the 42 is the angle at which light hits a prism and diffracts itself into the 7 colours. That's the answer. It's light. Everything on this, as Earth, we're thermodynamic. Our Earth is thermodynamic, meaning it's sun-driven, meaning it's heat-driven. Without the sun, we'd be a dead planet. The radiation off the sun, as we've discussed earlier, makes a difference to our world. Thermodynamics comes into play. As I said, what happens when you get cold? You shiver. You don't have to think to shiver. Your muscles involuntary spasm. Why? To make heat. The problem happens when you don't shiver. That's when you've got hypothermia. You know, that's when you're shutting down completely. Your core energy cell within your being is just sort of like packed up and said, look, it's too much, I'm going.
How many times should I forgive my brother? 7 times 777.
Well, 777. Seven's a magical number because of your menorah. 7 candlesticks on there for the Jewish. You've got 7 wonders of the world. You've got 7 primary chakras that you open. You've got 13 other than that you can escalate to, should you wish to, but in general it's 7. Okay. You've got the 7 Hermetic sciences principles within Hermeticism. 7 is a key factor. You've got 777 to the angels. You've got geometria. Geometria is a numerical system towards the Jewish mysticism of the Kabbalah. Numerology. You've got 7 colours of the rainbow.
I shall forgive my brother until everything.
The thing is it forgiving your brother, or you got to forgive yourself for feeling like that? Because we often find
Well, when I say forgive,
what
I
we don't
mean,
like ourselves.
sorry. No, what you said is okay. When I say forgive, I mean more like, it's okay, you did it again. I'm going to help you again. So I'll help my brother until the very end is what I take from it.
Yeah, but everyone can be a brother or a sister, yeah? The brethren. We're all brothers and sisters. Is that the angle you're going to?
Well, yeah, my neighbor, my molecule
Yeah.
next to me.
Yeah. We seem to be
Yeah, I see your point, getting frustrated with someone. But, I mean, this would be from my point of view, not from, someone else's idea of my point of view or what's happening.
It's diametric in what you're saying, isn't it? Meaning there's a difference, it's duplicative between someone else's point of view. So it's only your understanding and lifestyle that has led you to this level of understanding and lifestyle. So you're perpetuating perhaps your own for ecosystem, if you like, the plethora of it.
Well, forgive our trespasses as we trespass against each other. In other words, I'm stepping into your territory, you're stepping into mine.
But at least we've got the common decency to acknowledge each other, even though we may not agree with each other. But so far, I ain't disagreed with anything you said. I may not have your belief system, but I don't disagree with anything you said. I think you're just trying. I think it's quite admirable that you're trying to work through stuff. At least you're trying to understand stuff, rectify stuff, quantify stuff, realize stuff to make you a better person for all humanity and or whatever, you know.
Well, I'm perfect, just like everybody I see as far as I'm concerned. It's more about the universe itself. I mean, there's maybe you can see it all as one whole, perfect, but me, I'm still here, alone and suffering. So even if someone says everything's perfect and I'm in heaven, I would have to disagree and say that, I'm in pain. Even if it's not true, I would still tell them that because I still feel it.
Well,
So,
what one of the things Jesus said was, "Heaven is what you make it."
Okay, look
You
at
can either be in heaven or hell.
but you can't be in heaven with someone suffering because it's not complete. And what I was saying is, it's not really myself I'm trying to fix. It's the actual fabric of the universe, as strange as that might sound. I mean, it must all come together, even though it already is together.
do you know what the vision you're giving me? You're giving me the vision of an Enoch's wheel, the angelic wheel, wheels within wheels. It seems like to me, you're tangling yourself up. I may be wrong, but it seems like you can't escape this void that you've created for yourself. And this void is almost like a gravity well. And it's like you can see stuff going on around you and through you, but it's not you. As for oh, I've lost it. It's gone. Carry on. Sorry.
Well, no, it's not me. That's the point. I'm an empty light bulb. Um, it's the discrepancies that I'm trying to mend.
If you was really an empty lot, you look at stuff like this, right? They understand that space was just space. Now they're saying that dark matter is something. The LHC, the Large Hadron Collider in Switzerland, okay, is searching. They've found the God particle. They're now going to accelerate it even further, right? They want to find out what dark matter is. They know it's something, okay? So if this is what I'm saying. It's not. Some people say that daylight is good and darkness is when all the spooks come out, the witching hour and stuff like that. No, it's light. There is just light. And this is what I'm saying to you. There's no darkness. There's no emptiness. That space is full all the time. It's just that it's working on a different vibration. It's working on a different frequency that the human senses can't pick up. This is why some people can connect to spirit and some people can't, because they're not in tune with the vibrational frequency. Even Tesla, when he sorted out the AC stuff and all that, for the electric, he was telling people straight out, he's saying we're getting information from other worlds, alien intelligences. Whether them alien intelligences could be deemed as extraordinary, like alien spaceships or interdimensionals, is another thing, because this is a misinterpretation of the words we have today. Alien, you can have an illegal alien in this country now. That's not an alien, is it? Not as what we know, but they're changing the words to confuse people on purpose. the meanings of stuff, language of stuff, language.
Sorry, go ahead if you want. I was just gonna say, yeah, I mean, I agree. Things are truly perfect. Things are actually all in order and all, if it needs to come together, it's coming together. If it's already together, it's already together. It makes no difference to me how you explain it. But even if something seems off, then it it must be it must be fixed. Even if it's perfect, it must be fixed. Even if it makes no sense. Even if, the smallest bug is having a problem with its antenna and it's not even true, he's just hallucinating. He needs to be okay too.
But the other person also needs to go through their life's lessons so they could grow.
It could be a karmic element. Sometimes, all right, I can give you factual stuff where I've wanted to help someone, right, through whatever means capacity, right? I'm not about monetary. I've wanted to help someone and I was stopped. They blocked me. They completely blocked me. And I said, why? Why are you blocking me? I could really help this person, give out information, solve their problem for them, stop them from this turmoil that they're suffering internally, yeah? Give them a little bit of a G up. And they said, no, it's their karmic lesson. Karma plays a part in this. Now, whether that's for soul retrieval, whether that's for past experiences and payments that are due, okay? I just couldn't, they wouldn't let me. They completely stopped me. Everything shut down. It'd be like you trying to be a professional footballer when you've lost all your skills. You look an idiot. Do you understand what I mean? And they stopped me completely. And it was only when I backed away that they come back to me and said, he's got to go through that. Just like you might put your hands up in the air and say, why, at some point in your life, why are you doing this to me? All I've done for you. I try to be good. I try to think good. I try to be positive and all I get is shit. Why? The reason being is because it might be a karmic payment. It might be a lesson that you need to go through to learn. Because if you only won in life in whatever way, whether it's spiritualism, whether it's work, whether it's home life, whether it's marriage life, if you only ever won, truly won, what do you know what truly winning is? Your life would be boring. It would be like a clone. There would be no exasperation, there'd be no excitement, there'd be no emotion. Emotion is the key factor to humankind here. Don't devalue emotion. If you're upset and you're cross at someone and you swear at them and stuff like that, you're quite right to. You're quite right to get angry. Angry is there for, these emotions are there for a reason. And what it's teaching you is to channel that emotion. Now, if you channel that emotion, okay, it allows you to trip the light fantastic and connect to spirit quicker and better and more fluid. It's the fluidity that you need, because once you've connected, the flow just carries on and on. It just don't stop.
Oh, I don't disagree with you.
And part of your lesson could be to learn when not to step in.
Exactly. I mean, I could have overstepped my mark tonight.
Not you.
No, I'm just saying it could be. I'm not infallible. I've still got lessons to learn.
Yeah, but I was talking about the other guy.
But I think just be content with where you're at and what you're doing. If you're not content, change something, do something about it. Because what will happen is, now, there's a saying that says you'll find your teacher when the time is right. And each one of us can learn something off each other. It's not about power or levels or developmental skill or anything like that. All of us can do what we do in this room. All of us. It's just wanting to. It's just knowing to. And it's the information that is, filtered and portrayed across each other's frequencies of whether we decide to adopt to change something within our lives. If we don't want to change it, that's fair enough. If we do, then we might ask a question. How do you do this? Or how do you do that? And then that will give someone the impetus and stimulus to actually change something within their lives. But as long as, you know, you metaphorically sit down on your ass in your head, nothing's going to change. You can keep talking and talking and talking about this, that, or the other, but until you actually want a change, nothing is going to change.
Yeah, and I think one person can change the entire omniverse with will.
No, Mystic, I'm Opus. Digits. Digits is Opus. I don't know why it does that. I'll tell you what, right? About a year ago or so, I set up an account on YouTube, right? I set up an account on YouTube, and then for some reason, it made me set up an account on Google. And for whatever reason, it's not linking this name with my Google name, and I don't understand why. I'm new to Hangouts, so I'm not sure. But I'm signed in on chat as Digits, and I'm talking as Opus. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, if you want some technical information from my side, your YouTube name can be different than your Google name.
No. Opus Dei is a religious sect. You've probably heard of it from the Da Vinci Code, but it's a religious sect. All they're doing is just creating pain. They wear a strap on their leg that pins in their thigh to make it bleed, to suffer the pains of Christ. Okay? Opus actually means music as well. That's what people don't tell you. It's got a Latin connotation to music. Music is the key. I.e. sound. The sound theory is sound. That is a true saying. Okay. If you've listened to the rest of the Hangout tonight, you would understand that sound creates matter, matter creates reality. Oh no, where's everyone gone? Have I been kicked out?
I'm here. No guy left.
No, it's been an interesting night.
Yeah, it gets bigger every day. It gets bigger every day, but I wonder how many people notice. I mean, everybody, I'm sure, but how many people know they notice?
And that's the thing, you know, recognition of recognition itself. That's a paradox in terms, isn't it?
Yeah, and what is it to know, anyways?
I think to know is just be, you know, if you're calm, placid, content, feel full, harmonious, compassionate. I think that will be where it's at, isn't it?
Definitely where it starts, and then I would say your brain and your heart.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, for sure.
For sure, your heart is the key point, you know. I mean, if anyone studied the Kabbalah and stuff like that, I mean, they talk. The thing is with Kabbalah is they smother it, absolutely smother it in mysticism, complete mysticism, hide it in mystery. They do that on purpose. one for money and one because you know you're not eligible, you're not one of God's chosen people. But in reality, your heart has got to be connected. That's the thing that stops you from being robotic. Yeah, you know, like if you go in the forces, they take you as a human being, they break you down and rebuild you up as a machine, and with no remorse, no content, and then you come out of the forces and you've got PTSD. It's because when you come out, your heart gets reconnected, okay, and you can't deal with it because you're remembering stuff and you're living stuff and it's vibrant and it's real. And this is what you've got to do. You've got to connect your heart to your intent. You know, there's got to be goodness there. It's that feeling where you watch something on TV or a story. It doesn't matter whether you're a guy or girl or whatever, and you just think, oh God, you know, that was an amazing film. If a film makes you feel emotion, then it's done its job. How can an inanimate object, a story that is not necessarily true, create an emotion? So some magic has been weaved within that storyline to actually invoke that emotion within you. And I say invoke and pronounce it invoke on purpose. You got invoke and evoke. You got exoteric and esoteric. You got the inner circle, which is the esoteric, and the outer circle, which is exoteric. Exterior, interior. So there's knowledge that is built within the central hub, and you've got the outer hub, which is for everybody. So say like we could be talking about the Illuminati, say, okay, and if we talk about the Illuminati, everyone thinks, you know, Evil Eye, Pyramid, pop stars, this, that, and the other, and then you've got the inner circle that know that the Evil Eye could mean Saturn. Because Saturn was our sun. That was that was within our solar system years ago, and everyone benefited from Saturn.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's, I don't know. I mean, groups of people, as in, you know, what they think, are never individuals. You know what I mean? There's a huge difference. You know, groups of people are where conspiracy theories come from, but one individual, you know, isn't. I was gonna say can't start it, isn't a conspiracy, you know, on its own. But I don't know. The point is, what you think about what everybody thinks is never what one person thinks.
Well, no, I mean, if you're going out on your own, you're classed as rogue, right? It's known as a rogue element, yeah. If you're thinking as a group, it's either in posh terms called a think tank, or in other terms, it's called the hive mind. Okay, the hive mind, like ants do. You know, you've got a purpose, you've got a juncture, you've got a reason to aim for, and you're going for that reason, come hell or high water. That's the hive mind. You know, and if a rogue element steps out of that hive mind and says, look, this has got to change, then, you know, they're classed as an outsider, not wanted. And to a degree, that happens in life as well, you know, whether it be in gangs or stuff like that, you know. You know, like when you're at school, you've got the top pecking order. You did in the UK, you had sort of like the top group of people that everyone wanted to be in or aspire to, and you had the lower level people that, you know, were dross to a degree as far as the top people were concerned. We all break off into separate groups, and I think that comes down to a tribal element within our genetic makeup. We want to hang about people that have got the same aspirations and needs and wants as ourselves. Hence, perhaps why I've popped in here on the ghost element scene, and all you guys are quite knowing and knowledgeable of each other. But me as an outsider, I'm stepping in, and it's like, you know, can this work? Does this work? I don't know. And this is what I'm finding out. So basically, I'm not dipping my toes. I've dived in by joining this chat room with this hangout.
Yeah, I mean, it's different for me every day.
Well, it's quite.
Go
From
ahead.
what I make out, it's quite a closed shop. I don't know if you understand what I mean. You're a very tightly knit group of people. It seems like it's one big group in general, but then you've got factions within that group. You know, as an outsider to me, anyway. You know.
I don't know. I mean, I think the factions are themselves. So I don't know if you call them entities, but I mean, in a way, in a definition, you can. But each individual has its own idea of what is happening.
Yeah. It all comes down to experience and, you know, what they want out of life or where they want to take it. At the end of the day, you're the driver of your vehicle. You know what I mean? You go, you steer it where you want to go. Don't be steered.
Yeah, it's your free will choice.
Oh, free will for sure. Free will. Welcome back to the chat, anyway. You know, that's one thing I must say. If anyone ever tries to take your free will away, don't let them. It's very precious. And that goes on a human level or a spiritual level.
Right.
I follow the philosophy of Christ, of Jesus, a lot. I wasn't correcting myself for years like this. You know, specifically Jesus in the Bible. As in, you know, I believe God is over all. The one God, whatever you want to call it. The one power that, you know, does unite. Um, but I do differ in that letting someone hurt me doesn't help them or me. So, you know, that's kind of a difference.
And when someone hurts you, they're technically, with what we've discussed, really only hurting themselves, right? As well. I know you feel it either physically or mentally or whatever, but if they did do that, they're ultimately hurting themselves with what we've discussed as brother and sister coming from source, etc.
Right.
Ultimately. Oh, you're welcome, Aaron. Hopefully I ain't bored you lot in the chat.
No, they say they're really enjoying your voice.
Yeah, you're not boring by any means.
Well, the thing is, once you get to a level of connection, all right, there's a process of where you connect to find your spirituality as you are in this lifetime, as this being, and then you can pull upon the information from past lives and stuff like that. And what I'm saying to you is, it's within everyone's reach in this room, okay, to do what I do, what Georgina does, what anyone does. With the chap's point of view, is if you want to be where he's at, it's obtainable. All you got to do is aspire to that, ask for that, I want that, and go for it. You know, mentally, physically, spiritually, you know.
Yeah, I mean, often I find I stick my head in wells to make sure everyone's okay in the well or make sure no one's in the well. I mean, I, I get advice from, you know, wherever saying, you know, come on, you know, reach out, do something for yourself, you know, meditate, do all this. But I mean, there's suffering here where I am, and I don't think it should exist. And if you need an answer as to why I would suffer, that would be why. It'd be to eliminate the suffering.
Well, why don't you rechannel that suffering, that pain you feel, whether it's real pain or whether it's a feeling of suffering, you know, with your surroundings, with a situation of you can't move out of your place because there aren't enough funds or there's nowhere to move to, etc. Why don't you rechannel that suffering and use the negative and turn it into a positive, okay? Visualize it being positive and then use that to push your understanding or development on in whichever direction you wish to use it. I mean, there was a good film. I know films portray a lot, and there was one called The Butterfly Effect. And what happened was this bloke was blocked, okay, and he could travel through time and alter space and everything else. He used pain as a thing. Opus Dei used pain, okay, to channel their energy because they couldn't. They needed something tangible as a human person, okay, to actually connect, feel that they're connecting with spirit. They actually use that pain as a channel.
Well, I mean, yeah, I find going through it.
Turn your pain around.
I find that going through it is the cure for it, you know. And if someone else is feeling, if I perceive someone else is feeling the same thing, now I have a little package to give them, so they don't have to go through it anymore, you know, or ever.
Well, that's like me and Georgina pointed out to them people that are doing the Ouija. You know, we were more concerned that they were stepping into something that they couldn't deal with.
My question is, what are you learning from your own pain by witnessing somebody else's pain? What are you learning from it? What is it? What do you think you should be getting from it? I mean,
I don't.
you can't save the world. There's something in here for you to understand and to learn about yourself.
Well, yeah, it's all about helping myself to help others. Um,
But sometimes
Selfishness is.
Pour out within.
Yeah.
sometimes it's time to be. This is going to sound really crass and crap,
Yeah.
and I'm sorry. But sometimes there's a time to be selfish. Sometimes,
Yep.
let me give you an example. Only in the news 2 days ago, an old woman died. Okay, old women die all the time, but an old woman died because she was petrified of not giving her charities. She's given her charities all her life. And do you know what? The charities knew that she was a kind soul and they kept on begging her for money. And she'd give them everything. And she's technically starved and froze to death because she gave all her money away to charities. And that's not a joke. That happened the other day, 2 days ago. Okay? So, you know, she felt pressured. They're using her goodness against her. Sometimes there's a time to be selfish and you've got to put your foot down and say no. You know, it's like if you
Yes.
see a drunk in the street, now he might ask you for money. If you give him money because you feel sorry for him, okay, you say, what do you want the money for? He'll say food. You give him the money, he'll be straight in the boozer buying booze, all right? But if you actually said, okay, wait 1 minute, if you feel good enough that you could do something for this chap, you might even go into a cafe and buy him a bacon sandwich and give it to him. Then you know, guaranteed, that he's eaten and he hasn't wasted it on drink. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I was gonna say bye. Looks like they're shutting it down. Thanks, Paragoser. Thanks, Opus. Thanks, Juliana.
Yeah, thank
Yeah.
you. Lovely meeting you and talking to you all.
Yeah. You seem to be letting this control you, and this is not going to take you into a good place.